Welcome to session 2 on revision for level 2 financial information. Appreciate you joining me and making the most of this. This really is to make sure that you get past this external. Just a reminder from yesterday that you've done the Kahoot. If you do the Kahoot twice, it'll be better than doing it once, and you'll see immediate improvements. And secondly, if you've got your 1B5, your book sort of like that, that's for taking notes for today. Today's session is on service-based businesses, and I'm going to look at a plumber and go through that, and then we'll look at the exercises. Again, this should take no more than 20 minutes really for you to do it, so I hope you enjoy getting stuck in and learning. So today we're looking at a service-based business. It's different than yesterday. Yesterday had the cost of goods sold section. This time we basically missed that out and have one other change. So for the idea of an income statement is to get this bottom figure here. Do you remember what this bottom figure is called? Just call it out. Good. Hopefully it's a profit. And we'll put that figure in when we get to the end, rather than trying to count spaces. So if you've got your 1B5 exercise book, press pause and set it up for service-based business. Plumber income statement for the year ended 31st 2021. Just press pause while you write that in, and we'll look at the sections. Right, the first section is the income. So we'll just make that income. And this is going to be found on the credit side of the trial balance, and it's normally the largest figure. So the largest figure that we have here is, for a plumber, it's going to be plumbing fees. So for a service-based business, fees is probably going to be your major form of income. Because there's only one normally, we put that in the last column. I noticed in the 2019 exam there were actually two for a photography business. So if that's the case, we'll list both. After income, we don't have the cost of goods sold like the previous one, the trading business, because we're not selling things. So in this case, we'll just put plus other income. And again, we'll look on the credit side for that. And for a plumber, other income could be many things. It ends in with the word received. So think of an other income that has the word received. Today we're going to use dividends received. They would own shares in another business to get that. And once we've got those two in, write those two in, we'll get total income and just add those two together. So pretty easy, the income part of this. Normally there's not more than 3 for this. We wouldn't expect more than that for the exam anyway. Then we take away our expenses, so just less expenses are heading. And this is where things get quite different from the trading business. Because it's a service-based business, we don't have distribution costs. So in accounting, we call these Group 1 expenses. Group 1 expenses, very much like the trading account or the trading business, they relate to interaction with the customer. So things that when we're talking to the customer, the expenses relate to our interaction with them. So for an accounting business, it'll be accounting expenses. For a photography business, be photography expenses. And for a plumber, we'd call it simply plumbing expenses. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look through all the expenses and see what they are. We'll hit the other expenses up as well. We'll chuck in this one here. We still have our administration costs and our financial costs. You can add these in as we go. So for plumbing based expenses, we're going to put in things that have the word plumbing in them. I've got advertising as my first one because that's your first interaction with the customer. So write that one in. Then we've got some plumbing based expenses. So I've got plumber's wages, plumbing tool depreciation, and plumbing supplies used. Notice that the plumbing supplies used is different from plumbing supplies on hand. On hand is stuff that you've got stored that you haven't sold yet, so that's still a current asset. If you've used it up, then it becomes an expense. So that's why plumbing supplies used will go in here. And I've added one more in for today, which is just vehicle expenses. So once you've got all of those in, we put all the figures in the first column and the total in the second. Just press pause while you get those in. With the vehicle expenses, vehicle could be plumbing expenses or they could be administrative. What you've really got to do is think about the business and will they need that vehicle for their running their business, or will they need that for the administration? So normally vehicle expenses will go under plumbing expenses. The other one that's quite tricky there is website expenses. You've got to think again, what's the purpose of the website? Is that about an interaction with the customer, which it normally is, so that'll go here, or is it about the administration? Then it would go under admin. So vehicle expenses we've put here as a plumbing expense. Admin, remember yesterday we talked about that as expenses to do with the office or the running of the business that does not impact with your interaction with the customer. So typical ones for there, anything to do with office expenses. We've got doubtful debts, bad debts would go there. Things like insurance rates would probably go there as well. Again, the totals are the ones in the first column, total in the second. And you'll notice that doubtful debts has a negative figure because it's an adjustment to our allowance for doubtful debts. So that doubtful debts figure is a negative because our allowance for doubtful debts in this case will have gone down. All right, got those figures in. Then financial costs, again, there's only one financial cost. So shout it out. Good, I hope you don't get that wrong in the exam. And because there's only one, we'll put it in the second column. And simply finish this off by getting total expenses, by adding those three up. Again, see the most important figures are in that third column. And the last thing we're after is a profit for the year. You can see our income was 401, our expenses are 368, so that'll give us a profit, not a loss. So write that in. And our total income minus our total expenses gives us a profit of 32,000. All right, so that's the instruction part. The question part for you to do is, I'll move it along. You've got a couple of things to do. This time not a Kahoot, sorry about that. So the first thing we've got to do is, I'll try and get this sorted, is a classification exercise. And I've modelled this on a previous year's exam paper. So for this one, you've got to go down and just classify here. So your classifications are photography cost, PC, admin expense, financial cost, current asset, PPE, OE, income, other income, current liabilities, non-current liabilities. And as you click through this, we type AE for accounting fees, we see it's a happy face. Just a couple of tricky ones in here. Notice that you've got your travel and website. Remember we talked about that being photography costs, not administrative cost, because it's part of the cost of running the business. The other tricky ones in here, you see doubtful debts is negative, and the other one, when you're classifying these ones over here, just type PPE rather than negative PPE, and you'll see you've got a negative current asset. So just again, write CA rather than negative CA. So if you get any of these you're not sure about, you get the wrong figure, you can just click on the smiley face and it'll tell you up in the search bar at the top that this one here in the formula it's looking for an AE. So if you click on that, you'll see in the search bar, in the formula bar, what it should be. All right, once you've done that, I'd like you to go through and do just the income statement. All right, so the income statement, I haven't put headings because you won't get those in the exam. So I want income, less other income to get total income, and then your expenses being your photography costs, administrative, financial to get your profit. And when you're finished, just a little bit of a clue down the bottom, it tells you where you can find the answers. Right, that's enough for me. Good luck with that. make sure you get all those smiley faces. Check the answers. The answers are right. And then in our next session, we're going to have a look at our balanced adjustments, which are pretty key. All right. See you next time. Thanks for joining me again. Ka kite.